Everyone so far. We're just going to wait a couple more minutes for more folk to join, give them that opportunity in case they're running just a minute or so late. If you don't mind just sitting tight for a while, we'll get started very, very shortly. Okay. All right, David, I say we just get started and anyone else that comes in can jump in whenever.
Thank you, Amy. That's great. Well, hello everyone. Thank you for joining this webinar. Welcome. This webinar is on ETZ EnergyWorks, so thanks for your interest in EnergyWorks. So I'm in the room here today with Paula Gertie, Operations Manager, sitting opposite me. And next to me, we've got Amy Donald from the Comms and Marketing team, so thanks to both of you guys. So I'm David Wilson, I'm Energy Director at ETZ. I lead our supply chain team, and I'm also Project Director for EnergyWorks. So my background is I've spent around, 35 years in upstream oil and gas, working predominantly for operators in roles like petroleum engineer, subsurface manager to asset manager, technical director with TACA latterly, had my own consultancy. So I've covered things like HSE, responsibility, operational activities, drill stent. I was just talking to Paul about drill stent testing earlier, did a bit of that. Leadership and engaging with partners has been absolutely critical in my role, raising funding, covering subsurface, topsides and subsea areas too. So I worked in the not-for-profit area since 2018, firstly with Opportunity North East, and since 21, since we spun out ETZ, I've been with ETZ since then. So I've led ETZ EnergyWorks right since it was just a line in the ETZ limited business case. My boss said, right, David, you look after the incubator. What's an incubator? Well, here we are, we're in one. So back in 2020, 2021, worked to market research, engaging with the supply chain, working with architects on the concept, on the detailed design, the business case, getting the partners on board, getting the funding, revved up, and then going through the construction phase, clearly with colleague support throughout, working with our marketing team. Hello, Anna, if you're there. Getting the work done, and we've really got the handover behind us. We got the keys about a month ago, and we're into operations, which is where my colleague Paula comes in.
Thank you, David, and thanks to everyone for joining our webinar today. So I am Paula Getty. I am the Operations Manager at EnergyWorks. I've been with ETZ for 9 months. Prior to that, I worked in the oil and gas sector for a manufacturing company that specialised in premium threading for oil field country tubular goods. I was there for 13 years. I held the position of Business Support Manager for 9 years. My responsibility was to manage the HSEQ function, finance and HR. And then latterly, I was Operations Manager for 4 years for the manufacturing facility. So throughout my career, I've maintained a consistent focus on safety, ensuring robust processes, and we comply to industry standards. My background has equipped me for practical hands-on experience for managing complex operational buildings.
Thank you, Paula. And Amy, you want to say hello?
Yes. Hi, everyone. My name is Amy Donald. I joined ETZ Limited in October last year, so relatively new to the company. I work in the marketing and communications team as the digital media marketing assistant. And what that looks like day to day is a variety of projects, getting stuck into filming, into organising webinars, into going to conferences to support the team. I was brought in to help David and Paula on all sides marketing for ETZ. ETZ EnergyWorks, and that's been really exciting with it being launched coming up really soon, and also us getting the keys recently as well. So a lot of exciting things to come, but we are really excited to host this first webinar in its series. Please do engage with the Q&A function. Anything that you have queries about, it might be answered during the course of the presentation, but if not, we can definitely get to it. And the team are more than happy to communicate that. At the end, we've left ample time for questions, so please do engage.
Thank you, Amy. So just a quick slide. Some of you may be familiar, some maybe not with ETZ. So this is a very busy slide, so I'm just going to focus on a very few areas. A lot of what we do in the top left there is around land and infrastructure. We're around the investment that's already been made in New Harbour. We're a not-for-profit company. We don't have members. We're an economic development catalyst focused clearly on North East Scotland. We're all about creating jobs, creating economic well-being, economic growth, sustaining and growing activity in the region. And clearly the region itself, it's rich because we've had a legacy of 50, 60 years in oil and gas, and we've got fantastic skilled people in the region. We've got fantastic capable companies. We have some existing infrastructure that we can redeploy to low carbon in the future, and a bunch of natural resources on our doorstep, whether that be oil and gas, or indeed lots of wind and maybe some tide as well. So in the region's companies have a fantastically strong international reputation. So basically, with 53 million pounds of capex from Scottish and UK government, this is what we're setting out to do. We're also supported by the Wood Foundation, around £1.5 million per year from Sir Ian Wood since we were formed, and he's actually pledged in the last few months an additional 20 million to ETZ Limited going forward, which is massively welcome. So we're leveraging that harbour investment, but we're more than that, clearly. A lot of what we do is focused on offshore wind, hydrogen, CCUS to some extent, high value manufacturing. For the activities, the transformational infrastructure we create, we're a lot focused on enhancing the green spaces in the immediate community in Torry and in Cove, and we have a number of community projects that are running. We also do work on skills. We have just 2 doors now from EnergyWorks. We've got the Energy Transition Skills Hub that's run by the college. Some of that 53 million paid for that. It's got about 32 welding-based to train apprentice welders, for example. The skills focus is all about introducing young people to the industry and helping transfer skills from oil and gas into low carbon areas too. High value manufacturing. So inward investment is a big focus for us. Our colleague Jackie Watt focuses on that, attracting companies into the region that are active in the low carbon area. My group has benefited from Scottish Government's pathway. Just Transition Fund. We've used that to fund our Pathway Challenge Fund. I'll mention that in just a second. Internationalisation is a key part of that. And then around innovation, R&D technology, we already have the home of the National Floating Wind Innovation Centre up and running. That's run by ORE Catapult in another building, W01, just down the road, the other end of Hareness Road from here. We're working on the business case for a green hydrogen test and demo facility. And we have EnergyWorks, which is we want it to be the home for green energy startups and scale-ups. So just a little bit more about that in the next slide. If I can click on it. Some means maybe. see what progresses. I'm clicking here, but nothing's happening. See if we can get it to move. Yeah, there we go. So I've mentioned these campuses. So this is the geography. We're talking about areas south of the River Dee, the southern part of Aberdeen, where the ETZ, the Energy Transition Zone, covers basically Altons and East Tullis. For those of you with an oil field background, you'll know where those places are. But I've mentioned a lot of these projects already, but the one we're going to focus on is the Innovation Campus EnergyWorks, just there on the left-hand side. So next slide. Oh, there we go. So this is what Altons Industrial Estate, with just the edge of East Tullis on the left there. So you can see the New Harbour on the coast up there. So this is basically an industrial estate that dates from the late 70s, 80s. So we're trying to reinvigorate this area through investment. This is where, for example, EnergyWorks is. This is our innovation campus area, and that's where it's located on Hareness Road. And if we zoom in this slide, you can see we're basically formed of 3 buildings. There's the hub building that we're sat in right now, and that has a workshop that's run by National Manufacturing Institute of Scotland. They've got co-working space, meeting rooms like the one we're in, private office suites as well, all in this building, and then 2 separate industrial buildings just on the, you can off to the left there. But the point is, it's a purpose-built. The building itself is low carbon. You can see the solar panels on the roof, for example. We're all about accelerating green energy, innovation, entrepreneurship. Our keywords are entrepreneurship, innovation, and growth. That's what we wanted to do here. We wanted to take those ideas and concepts through prototyping with the support of NMIS, National Manufacturing Institute of Scotland, but also with the other partner support. The facility cost about just over £9 million. We're hugely grateful to funding from the UK government, from Scottish government, particularly from BP and Scottish Enterprise. Scottish Enterprise, for example, put in £2.8 million of capex. And the partners formed of BP, Scottish Enterprise, NMIS and NZTC, we're working together to help the companies that occupy the facility be entrepreneurial, be innovative, and bring your products and services to commercialization. So we end up creating jobs and economic growth for the region. It's an integrated, it's a dynamic, collaborative environment. We're trying to create an ecosystem here that really connects with the other parts of ETZ. And we're looking at end-to-end support. So you can have anything from a hot desk here to a desk, to a number of desks, to an industrial unit, all with that support laid on top. So yeah, seamless connectivity with our own other assets like the Skills Hub, like W01 at the Wind Campus, but with funders, with investors, with academia, industry partners. So that's what we aim for this place to be a focus for all that activity. And we opened just 4 weeks ago. So Paul and I have been busy just getting the place ready, and we already have a tenant in the form of Innovair, who are occupying the industrial unit just outside here, and also taking some desks as well. So just about our purpose, I mentioned this a lot already: entrepreneurship, innovation, applying cutting-edge manufacturing support to end up with some business growth, jobs, economic value. And that kind of mirrors a lot of what ETZ at large wants to do with the region. And then our vision, people laugh when I say it's a powerhouse. Is that not like a country, David? Well, I think we are a powerhouse, EnergyWorks powerhouse. We're an innovation powerhouse, and we want to support pioneering companies and drive ultimately economic growth. So if you're interested in that, please get in touch. Here's some pictures that I'll run through. I mean, this is we're in the Innovation Campus. The sign's up already. What else have we got? Just another view of the building. The building is made from timber with steel cladding on it. We actually literally have the heating on only for a few hours each day. It keeps itself warm. So it's a remarkably efficient building. We're discovering that already. Here's a view into NMIS's workshop from outside. You can see the timber construction through it in this picture. Here's an architect's render of our collaboration lounge. Slightly different lineup to what we have now, but this is what it looks like in real life. So we've got the furniture. Paul and I fevered over swatches and all sorts. So we've now equipped and furnished it, so it's ready for occupation. We've got a large screen there that we had deployed just the other day into the corner where this picture was taken. We had about 80 people in the space getting a presentation. So it works really well as a space. Here's one of our larger meeting rooms. We've got 3 meeting rooms: earth, wind, and fire. Here is just a snapshot of a corner of one of our co-working areas, and we can be pretty flexible with the way we line these desks up. This is just a starting. We've got 24 desks in to start with, and we can have up to 52 desks in total in terms of permanent desks, and we've got some hot desking areas as well. This is our yard where we have our industrial units. Again, we've got eight units, 2 round about 300 square meters and 6 just under 200 square meters. So 2 300s, 6 200s, basically 16 meters deep and either 12 or 18 meters wide. So these are basically a blank canvas for industrial activity. Toilets in each corner of each unit. Here's a picture of one of the larger ones, 3 bays. 3-phase power, well insulated. Heated toilet there, and there's a smaller unit just to give you a flavour of what that they look like. But yeah, all modern, basically we cover all the maintenance and upkeep. Tenants cover the utilities. And here's Ennis's workshop. This is a render of what it might look like. And actually there's equipment being delivered already to equip their space. And this is what their empty space looks like. And you can really see the wooden structure of the building. These are heating panels up in the roof there. Air source heat pumps and the rest. So what else have we got? Oh, it's stuck.
And again,
What's going on? Mouse is stuck for some reason. Oh, there we go. Oh yeah. So this is just the, I mentioned earlier the Pathway Challenge Fund that we operate. So some of you will be familiar with this. Some of you will be familiar with our masterclasses. We do digital adoption programs. We work with Larry Capital around fit for offshore renewals and help companies change their strategy through short strategy shift workshops, as well as fit for offshore renewals, internationalization support. This leads to capital funding. Now, we've been hugely supported by Scottish Government. We've issued about £7.5 million of capital grant match funds to date since early 23. And that's, created about £20 million of additional private investment from local companies. And I'm sure these are just 40 of the 50 companies we've supported. So I'm sure you'll recognise some of the companies up there. But here, that's enough from me. Over to Paula, and she'll tell you about some of the detailed operations, what we're doing to EnergyWorks, how we run it.
Yes, thank you, David. So as I mentioned, I am the operations manager at EnergyWorks. So what does that role entail? Well, I'm here 80% of my time. So that's about 4 days a week. I do manage the other building that we have, W01, that David touched upon earlier. But I am the point of contact, everything relating to operating the building efficiently and smoothly. So I'm also responsible for ensuring that the building is fully compliant with all HSE standards. We do have a facility management company, Knight Frank, so they do come in, they'll carry out all the maintenance repairs that are required for the building and carry out all the sort of safety, fire safety, health checks, as well as the sort of standard water testing. But what I've been working on since I joined ETZ is our HSE framework for EnergyWorks. So what that has entailed is creating risk assessments and procedures and operating plans that are specific to this site. So we do have tenants that join the facility. It's very clear what our HSE standards and expectations are. And what I'll also be doing to ensure the effectiveness of that framework is carrying out site inspections, audits. We also have an active monitoring system. And then from that, we'll have a continuous improvement approach. So any findings we'll look to update and make the system more robust. I will also be carrying out thorough onboarding with all tenants, all new tenants, visitors and contractors that we have in site. So we've set the HSE standard, but we need to communicate that to everyone that works from the site. So that will include all the risk assessments, procedures and operating plans. What I'll also do is do follow-up site inspections with our tenants. So as David mentioned earlier, we do have 8 units. And they are aimed at start-up and scale-up organisations, so probably quite early in their infancy. So I will make sure that they're operating to our set standards across the site. I also support the tenant acquisition. So this is an area that David spends a lot of time on. So I support that in terms of offering site tours. We also have a robust application process that I'll talk on the next slide. Tenant engagement and ecosystem support. So what's key for all tenants that are based at EnergyWorks is that we fully understand what their needs are, and we ensure that all the workshop and activities and partner support that is on offer, that they are fully aware of and they're accessing it. What we're looking to do is set up monthly engagement meetings with our tenants to understand that they've managed to engage, and if they aren't engaging, why are they not doing so? And then operational leadership and continuous service enhancement. So I am the link between the building operations and the people and programs that will be operated within the facility. We continue defining our process and services and help create an environment where innovation and collaboration can thrive. So I touched upon the application process. So we have a robust process in place. We have 52 desks in the co-working area. We have 8 units. And what we want to do is we want to ensure that the organizations that are based at EnergyWorks are the right companies. We want to make sure that they benefit from the ecosystem that we have on offer. And we need to ensure that we assess the criteria, that they meet our criteria that we've established. So the process is outlined here. We identify a potential tenant, we engage, we issue an application form, we ask them to complete, we carry out an assessment of that. There's a number of questions that is detailed in the application. We need to understand what the organization's strategy for growth is, what sector they work in, and how they would benefit from advanced manufacturing. Once we receive the application, we review and then we provide feedback. If they're approved, we then move on to the financial due diligence. And then at that point, we then move on to lease negotiations. So I suppose at this point, if anyone had any questions in terms of the application process, or if they wanted to see an application, please just reach out and I'm happy to send an application or discuss in further detail. Thanks, David.
Thank you, Paula. So just to get close to the end here, I mean, the key point is, before I talk about the numbers here, just to make sure you understand that we're pretty flexible. You know, for a desk, the minimum term is only 3 months. For a unit, the minimum term is only 1 year, which is clearly a lot less. Because we're government funded, we need to match commercial rental rates in the neighbourhood. Otherwise, you would distort the market. So we've got to be fair, like for like. Bear in mind, these are brand new units and desks. We cover all the maintenance, the gritting the carpet, cleaning the windows, all that stuff. Clearly, utilities are covered by the tenant, so we can be pretty flexible with short lease terms that are market rates. So for the industrial space, it's £12.50 per square foot per annum, £5 service charge on top. So roughly for a smaller unit, just 192 square metres, the annual cost is about 36,000. For just under 300, the annual cost is 54,000. So that includes the rental, but utilities are on top. In terms of desk space, these are bargains because the £200 a month for a permanent desk, 150 for up to 10 days per month on a hot desk. Bear in mind that that includes access to a meeting room like this. I mean, if you were to rent a room like this, 6 people for a day, it probably costs like £300–400. So it's almost a no-brainer, but I can't say that. We also have 2 private 6-person office suites available. 1,400, so that's a 20% uplift on the cost of desks, and they're private rooms. If you're working on a defence contract alongside some renewable stuff, you can have a private area, but clearly we welcome you either in co-working or in a private area. So that's all on offer. And I think, the business support, as I mentioned, that is the difference here. We're creating an ecosystem. We're engaging with our partners, whether it's ourselves, Scottish Enterprise, ETZ and the connection they have with operators and developers in their TechX program, for example, and ENMIS. This is going to be ENMIS's first outreach from the Central Belt. And this is where they'll be applying their insight and knowledge around efficient use of materials in manufacture, robotics, automation. And what we want to do is to apply that technology and insight to products and products, particularly clearly that people are creating, prototype creations that we can beat the world by using the technology advancements that ENMIS, for example, can offer. So we don't charge for that. ENMIS is really beyond a certain level of support. ENMIS we charge, but the initial engagement and support is included. So there's a compelling set of reasons to engage with us on EnergyWorks. But happy to take any questions. But before I do that, contact details, and I think we're going to distribute these slides, will we?
Yeah.
But in the chat, I understand all these contact details are there. Follow us on LinkedIn, because on LinkedIn you'll get access to the early bird stuff on our programs, our masterclasses, and any events that we do here or anywhere else. But thank you so much for listening. Any questions? Happy to take any questions that you might have.
We do have a question. Well, first of all, a compliment. Nice looking building and facilities.
Oh, thank you. I think I said nice looking. No, building. Okay, thank you. Yeah.
There's a question around EV charging.
Yes.
Is that something we have?
We do. We have 4 charging points, 22 kilowatt charging, and We're getting our full broadband set up, and once that's lined up, there'll be an app for that. So sadly, we can't offer free charging, but we do have 4 22 kilowatt charging points, which can charge a car in a matter of hours.
Yeah.
And you did touch a little bit upon the facilities that just renting a desk
Yeah.
would have. So meeting rooms,
Yeah.
showers.
Yeah, that's right. If you cycle or run to work, anything, just fancy a shower. We've got 4 showers in the hub buildings, for example. That's just one of the things we offer. Wi-Fi, clearly small and large meeting rooms. For example, I think we've got 2, 6, possibly 8 person meeting rooms, so we get 8 people here. So they're included in a desk rent. We've got a kitchen area, or collaboration lounge, we call it. It's got a fridge, freezer, microwave, normal stuff, cutlery, plates. I know because Paula ordered them off Amazon, some of them the other day. What else have we got? Yeah, we've got chill out areas in the collaboration lounge. And and the other thing that's really important is the fact that EnergyWorks, ETZ EnergyWorks is on a tax site. So your eyes might light up, and quite rightly so, because the region is benefiting from £160 million of Scottish and UK government funding over the next 10 years. So say 16 million a year, roughly, I guess, on average. But 40% of that money is used for OPEX, for tax benefits. So, for example, if you are creating and growing a company, EnergyWorks, not all of ETZ's included as a large tax site, but there's only patches that are included, but EnergyWorks is included in that. So if you establish a business and grow a business at EnergyWorks, you benefit from 0 business rates, 0 national insurance contributions for your staff, and additional capital allowances. So massive benefits. The detailed conditions will be released in the coming days, probably, if not weeks. So that's a huge benefit. And as well, alongside the OPEX, there's going to be capital money is available, but that's to the whole region, not just EnergyWorks. But yeah, so a compelling reason to be in EnergyWorks for that. What else? Is there anything else?
Parking.
Parking, we have parking, that's true. We've got, I don't know how many spaces. 60.
Total of almost 70.
70 spaces.
That's split between the hub and
Yeah.
the unit area.
Yeah,
Because we had an event here a couple of weeks back.
we did.
And we had an attendance of over 70 people, and our car park was full and able to accommodate.
Yeah, it was good.
We are also looking at overflow car parking as well. So that's something that we were discussing. So we could look to accommodate further 20 to 30.
Yeah.
So
as well as this 2-acre EnergyWorks site, we own the 4 acres next door, so we can create more industrial facilities or indeed overflow car parking. And we're just along the road from Aldi, which is very handy. If you're an Aldi shopper, why not come here?
the services, there are bus routes as well, so it's accessible, and we're not too far from the Aberdeen City Centre.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's a fairly compelling list. And the thing is, it's brand new. So it's, there's no damp on the walls or, the thing is brand new. So it's,
We're happy to facilitate visits.
yeah.
So please get in contact. If you just want a tour of the site, we're happy to carry that out.
Most days, Paul and I are showing people around. So it's been quite busy. But yeah, do
Because the photos are great, but being in the building, it's definitely a benefit if you can make a visit.
It's worth it because it's got it feels warm, but it's got a warm kind of vibe to it. It's quite interesting. It's made of Austrian spruce.
Yeah.
You can smell the
Remember when you walk in? Yeah.
So come and visit. Yeah. And as I said, Paul and I agonised over the swatches.
Yes, to hear.
Yeah. So yeah.
But the feedback that we have from people who do visit site, that they find that it's very a calm environment and very welcoming. So again, we would encourage visits.
Yeah. Any other questions?
So I think something else to touch upon would be an ecosystem that we are creating. We have our first tenant.
We do.
And I think something that is very clear is that with what we're trying to achieve with ETZ EnergyWorks is creating that ecosystem where it's not so much a brush of the shoulder for the copy machine, but also an engaging conversation to rely upon one another as startups and scale-ups.
Yeah.
Something that especially focused as an energy incubator, you might not find anywhere else. Just to touch upon question there about why should someone choose ETZ EnergyWorks?
Yeah, no, we're looking at, we've created areas and spaces to encourage partnerships to form potentially. I mean, for example, with the other partners, we have a kind of a triage session with new tenants so that we can work out, right, what do they need from us, what are they up to, and we can introduce companies that are here to other organisations beyond EnergyWorks. But yeah, we're already finding, even when we have events, we find, oh yeah, you can work with, there's inspection companies, working with camera companies, for example, and all sorts. So we really want to be a catalyst, and this is the place to do it. And we clearly will have our office in town, but that's different because that's just for us, but this is for the community, the industrial community based here. So it's quite different from what we've offered before.
While still adopting the tried and tested process we have.
Yeah, exactly. And one seamless connection to our supply chain offer, the masterclasses, you'll be familiar with our chance for grants, bring it all together. The other thing we're doing is working closely with Opportunity Northeast on their entrepreneurship program. So we're becoming partners in that through the investment zone. And that's where they work closely with MIT in Massachusetts, Cambridge, Massachusetts, around their approach to entrepreneurship. So we've got Paul Cheek, for example, is coming over here in a couple of weeks. And they've got a very systematic, because they're kind of an engineering institution, they've got a very systematic entrepreneurship. It's not just a random art. There is actually a process behind it. And if you apply the process, you can be successful. So we're adopting that. Opportunity Northeast for the other sectors. We're clearly working closely with opportunities to apply that to companies, maybe like yours, within the energy area. And they've got a whole process around mentoring, that whole entrepreneurship, B2B sales, finance for founders, other aspects. So, you can welcome you to join in with that activity as well. So we want to bring it all together, and this will be a physical focus for all that stuff.
And perhaps also the business support from partners. Thankfully, we have another webinar coming up in the next couple of weeks. If you do want to learn a little bit more about what Scottish Enterprise will be bringing to the ETZ EnergyWorks table, please keep your eye out for that webinar invite. And if you go to the chat box, I have popped links in for our mailing list as well. We will also be sending out that invite via there. So if that suits you better, then please join that. I think if there's any more questions, we're happy to take a few more. We do appreciate some of you might be joining on your lunch break. So thank you very much for spending this time with us. If you do have any questions, again, don't hesitate to email us, put it in the chat box, whatever works for you. But if that is everything, I think we're happy to let everyone go.
Thank you. Thank you for joining in. But yeah, as Amy says, just get in touch if you get any questions or want a view. I'm happy to show you around. Thank you so much.
Thank you, and enjoy the rest of your Thursday.